Finally, nearly 30 years after its initial inception and over a decade since its last iterative release, this week, Virtua Fighter is back. While it may not be the Virtua Fighter 6 fans have been undoubtedly hoping for years, Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown nonetheless aims to show that this series isn't dead yet. Seemingly Sega's MO with their properties in recent years, with it being in a long line of series revivals or remakes, joining the likes of Panzer Dragoon, House of the Dead, Space Channel 5, Daytona USA, Sakura Wars, and frankly too many to name at this point. Despite its incredible legacy and historical importance in the gaming space, Virtua Fighter was risking becoming known as those games you can play in Yakuza to new generations of players, so seeing this release is really something neat. On top of that, the game will be free for a couple months for those with a PlayStation Plus subscription, which will likely make this the most played Virtua Fighter game in ages, if not ever. Players without a PlayStation 4 or 5 will have to wait, which is a downside. But for those who fall into those camps, what we have here is really good. To disclose, Sega gave me access to the game and its DLC a day early to futz about with it. So if you see those retro skins and you want them in your game and are wondering where they're at, you'll have to buy the DLC pack from the PlayStation Store to access them. And to fully confess, I'm one of those types who have only really played Virtua Fighter through the Yakuza series. I messed with 2 and 5 Final Showdown some in that way, but the series and fighting games in general have been a huge blind spot of mine as far as gaming goes. As a pretty big Sega fan, I should be more familiar with Virtua Fighter, but I was just never in the right time or place for it. So I'm just going to be talking incredibly generally here, because as a Sega fan, I'm just excited to see it back and see fans of this series get a win. So yes, indeed, while 2010's arcade release was the Final Showdown, this 2021 release is the Ultimate Showdown, a fact even Sega mixed up. Oops. The focus here is a lot more on competitive matches, so much so that in Japan, this game is just actually called Virtua Fighter Esports. It's a really weird Frankenstein situation. So what we have here is the current AM2 teaming up with members of RGG Studios to basically dig back in and replace or add on to just about everything. And let me tell you, seeing those two logos together really is something special to see. So the end result here is new music, new visual effects, new models, new lighting, new online. Barring some game modes that got cut, just about everything here got a makeover. Everything except the actual fighting mechanics and the voiceover clips. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that both of those were equally good decisions.
My body is an unstoppable weapon.
Speaking as a newcomer, the game feels great to play. There was some talk from the producer about how they were scared to touch any of the balancing because they felt they had it perfect in the last game, and while I initially took that with some cynicism, yeah, it's a joy to experience. Granted, I'm horrific at the game. Even on easy difficulty, the arcade ladder has managed to destroy me at the end of it, but the feeling of pulling off a sick combo or pulling a clutch win has been incredibly gratifying each time. It's very rewarding to begin to understand the appeal of playing fighting games instead of just watching people do crazy things with them. The roster that is here has been fun to sample. I've had some good matches as Taka Arashi. I love just slapping people in the face with him. I've also done pretty decently as Eileen, and El Blaze just might be the best character in the game. He's fast and over the top and just so cheesy. I love it. I was steering very clear of Leon Raffel, partly because his name feels like a rejected Final Fantasy VIII name, but then in some matches against the Golden Bolt, he picked him and wiped the floor with me and my buddy Justin, so I might need to investigate further. Visually, it's very pleasing to the eyes also. I'm playing on a PS5, but as I understand it, on PS4 it's a full 1080p at 60 frames per second too. As a devout Yakuza fanboy, it's really neat to see the Dragon Engine power some environments here that we just frankly will never see it used on otherwise. I especially love this level on a floating platform in the water. The backgrounds just look really great. It's also pretty safe to say these characters have never looked better either. It's kinda crazy to see the Virtua Fighter cast in a sort of Yakuza character style here, but it really works. They feel modernized and are still a joy to watch in motion, while still retaining that Virtua Fighter feel. And I gotta say, these VF1 inspired polygon skins are so ridiculous. They look almost nightmarish against these high fidelity environments being affected by the lighting, but god I love it. In terms of modes, there have been some omissions. There's no quest mode here as an example, but given this title's focus on online play, it's an understandable disappointment. Offline modes are just limited to an arcade ladder and local multiplayer. Thankfully, so far, the online seems to be pretty good. I have played about 4 hours worth in total as of writing, and I've only experienced a single second long hitch, and 2 incredibly minor blips otherwise, both of which occurred during times I couldn't have made an input anyway. It's pretty impressive. Word spread around pretty quickly ahead of release that it was like playing underwater due to the lag, but based on my own experiences and others I've touched base with, so far it's great. It's a bit less great when experienced VF players are just clowning on you, but hey, that's just how online games go, right? My biggest criticism here is that it's just clunky to meet up with friends. You essentially have to create a room and then have your friends refresh the room list and hope they see yours. You can't directly invite someone in, at least as far as I've seen. The Golden Bolt had set up a password for the room and someone random still got in before I did. I suspect part of this is just due to the game's Japanese version. Over there, the game connects online between physical arcade cabinets, so quickly getting as many people into as many rooms as possible is the real intent of this game's online. It just so happened to also mostly fit into a home console release in the West without this kind of thing really getting accounted for, I guess. I'm going to keep hoping a friend invite system comes, and hey, maybe down the road it'll get patched in. And I guess to that end, that's my hope for this game's future. I try not to be the person that gets something that took a long time to make and immediately asks for more, but I'd love to see this game get some cool support down the line. It'd be so hyped to get a Yakuza pack that brings in Kiryu and some music from this series, maybe a new stage based in Kamurocho, or on top of the Millennium Tower or something. Maybe some guest characters from other fighting games too, mixed in with any Virtua Fighter characters that didn't make the cut here along the way, if there are any. Wikipedia tells me everyone is here, but I'm a total newbie, so hey, someone will correct me if I'm wrong. Either way, I'm hopeful. I'm sorry this was a super normie video, but it represents where I'm at with the game. I want to stick with it and try to learn it. It's just so cool to have Virtua Fighter back, and I want to make sure I've done my part to try to get better at it and spread the word about it. If Virtua Fighter takes another hiatus after this entry, I don't want to feel like I didn't do my part. Thankfully, it's fun enough to help make that an easy thing to do, and I hope you'll join me in doing so. I might talk about this separately in another video sometime, but it's such a pet peeve for me to see people continue to say Sega only releases Sonic when they've done so much over the past few years to keep torches lit on their old IP. And going by this interview from Famitsu, they are using this game's server activity as sort of a gauge on if there is interest in another Virtua Fighter, so making sure to hop on and play some matches now and then will go a long way. Anyway, I'm curious if I have any Virtua Fighter fans who watch my channel. Let me know how you feel about this release, if you're excited about it, or just kind of annoyed that it's not entirely new. I'm looking forward to hearing other people talk about this game and the series in general down below. That'll do it for me for now though. Until next time, take care, have a good night, and go easy on me if you see me online, please. The above patrons help keep this channel going, especially Adrian, Buckles Chucklo, Goldstormer7, Harry, Jeet, Joey, Lewis Jones, Moki, Patrick Thompson, Svendelica, That Trav Guy, The Crazy Even, The Legend of Groose, and Wolf Chaos On. Thank you, everyone.